Welcome to the weekly watch of December 14th, 2013. I'm your host and title master, Darkly10000, and with us today, as always, is the Time Eater Truman.
The Time Eater?
And this quiet rage, Nathan.
Hello.
What did we watch this week?
Shinsekai Yori.
Fucking amazing show.
So.
Yeah, I actually really like it too.
Alright then.
Let's get right into it, I guess.
It's been a while. So.
I don't know when you watch it, and actually I don't even remember when I finished it. But, first thing I'll say is I was honestly really surprised. I don't even remember how I found this. I think I just, needed to pick. It was, my pick. And I was like, shit, I need to find something. And then, I just saw this, and I was like, oh, fine, screw it.
And then you brought up Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah, because someone says, oh, it's kind of like Serial Experiments Lane.
This isn't anything like Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. But, no, I really liked it a lot so far. I'm done with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Nate?
I really liked it. I thought it raised some cool psychological and philosophical questions.
Stuff. There were...
Okay.
I had some problems.
Oh, Jay, you didn't like it much?
I thought it was good and everything, but... Ah, man. There were just times where the time skips bugged me.
I think one of the biggest ways I could easily explain that I liked it a lot was when I first watched it, I watched 13 episodes in a row. And then I was like, shit, I should probably not watch this all super early. And so I waited, I took a whole week off doing other stuff, and then I just watched the other however many episodes were left in a row again. And so I went through huge marathoning events with it.
I only watched a few episodes at a time.
See, this is one where I, even if I wanted to, I don't think I could watch only one or two episodes at a time, because I'd get to the end and be like, oh my god, what happens next?
There were plenty of easy stopping points.
There was definitely break moments, but...
Because of all the time skips.
Yeah, there wasn't that many time skips. There was
There's
3.
There was, I would say 4.
Okay, what are they?
One is after the camping trip, where all of a sudden it's wait, they're older. Why are the guys making out? Why are the girls making out? What the fuck happened?
They explain that.
That really confused me too. It's just
oh wow.
They
explain that before it happens.
And then it's
when they meet the little
everyone's gay. Wait,
when they meet the little
miss?
librarian info hologram thing, it says they try to create a society that express sexuality like bonobos. So whether you were immature or whether it was homosexual, you expressed affection.
Affection.
While it was explained, it was still one episode they're kids, the next episode they're all making out. I'm like, wait, I must have
The next
missed
episode
something.
they caught the gays.
I don't know. It didn't bother me that much.
I was just whoa, because I was actually watching this with my mom. It's why is everyone... was really awkward timing.
I would understand that...
I definitely thought I had missed an episode or two.
I would understand that as being kind of unsettling if you took a big break between the sections, but I don't know, it didn't surprise me at all after the whole bonobo explanation thing.
The other time skip that confused me for a bit was after Shu became a karma demon. Where it's just it cuts in and it's oh, it's that guy. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Okay, that time
they
skip was only a year though.
Yeah, and you're just
who
the fuck is this guy?
They understood what was going on, and you're wait, that's not the dude, and then they're wait, that's not the guy.
Yeah.
And then it reveals that whole conspiracy thing. What was after that?
Then there's the jump to when they're adults.
Oh, so there was only 3. I guess.
Well, there's also the very last one at the end when she's an old woman and pregnant.
I think we lost Truman.
God damn it.
We lost him!
Well, I'm here. I can still kind of talk.
But okay, so third time skip.
Third time skip is when after
Third time skip was
Maria.
or the third arc was when what's his name was trying to leave.
Yeah, at the end of that is the third skip.
Okay, I guess
it kind of goes from.
I guess what I meant by skips was arcs, and then there's at least like a decent gap between that.
Hello?
We're back.
Okay.
I think we're back. Okay.
I'm thinking Nate's not here.
No, I'm here. I'm at Jay's place.
Oh, true. Oh, shit. Okay, that's what it just says. There's only one. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So what was it? Time skips.
What was the last thing? I was saying something and then it cut out.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Not really.
No.
Shit. I forgot.
Okay.
Never mind.
10 seconds.
Okay. Jay was explaining to me during the little cut that he associates the time skips with the arcs.
Which
Okay.
after like Who the Fuck is Mystery Man happens, there's that whole arc where like they're finding red guy with curly hair. By the way, that red guy with curly hair?
No, the girl has red hair. The guy just has curly hair.
Okay,
And he's afraid
guy
of
with
everything.
curly hair totally
Curly
thought
hair
it was
bitch.
totally thought it was a girl for the whole first arc when they're children.
Really?
Yes, did not piece it together until like the next arc. I'm like, holy shit, that's a guy.
Because they killed off that girl, like, super fast. Remember the one girl who, like, was originally on their team? They killed her off mad fast.
I wouldn't even call it killing her off. She wasn't like a main character or anything. She was there simply so she could be removed to
I think
create
she was only there
this
for
conspiracy.
one episode.
Yeah, she was taken away at the end of the first episode. She was literally there to get us into this whole conspiracy child thing.
Didn't even notice she disappeared, by the way.
Oh my god, Jay. Gotta pay attention. But yeah, Jay was telling me he associates the time skips with the arcs, and he separates the who the hell is this guy arc
With the
with the
curly
girl-
hair running away.
with the two people running away. Like those are separate arcs to him, and to
I can see
me,
that.
they're the same.
I don't know. I can see them being definite separate arcs. There is the Karma Demon arc, and then there is like I don't know the running away. It's I don't the running away part. It's
but
not really
is
a
is
full
the
arc.
who the hell is this guy part of the Karma Demon arc?
I would say definitely is.
Okay, then yeah, that's the same as mine. Jay's saying it's a completely separate thing.
It's just
No,
because there was I'm saying that because there was like a disconnect with like time or something.
Yeah.
There's a short disconnect, but I think it's definitely part of the Karma Demon arc.
Okay, I mean I can
And then-
see the connection, but it's just like there was a disconnect.
It's the epilogue of the Karma Demon arc.
See, I say it's the beginning of the two running away because it's what spurs the council or whatever to decide that they should kill them. It's because they're digging into it.
The two running away. I think it's like 2 or 3 episodes. It's kind of weird because it's not the rebellion arc really,
No.
and it's not. I mean, there's no fiend arc, so
Well, that's kind of the last arc.
exactly, which is part of the rebellion, and so I mean, it's kind of like this weird interlude between them that like sets up for the rebellion.
Just the story was confusing at times with these disconnects that caught me.
I actually really liked it. Like I thought it kept you thinking. It kept me thinking at least through the entirety of the show. Like I was like I remember at the very beginning when there was like the major flashbacks to like the old empires and stuff, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? It'd be like 500 years in the future, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? It's like 1,000 years.
No,
in the
when
future.
it first did that, I'm
It's
like,
what?
So when it first did that, it's like 500 years in the future. I'm like, so 500 years in the future from now, or 500 years from the 1,000 years in the future?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like,
exactly.
is this our future or theirs? That was a bit disconnected to me.
But I mean, it gets explained. Honestly, one thing I would have wished they would have had more openings from the, from the I guess the old empire kind of thing.
I'm guessing nothing else happened after that.
Well, I think if they would have had more old stuff, it would have given away too much.
That's true. And actually, I mean, I was going to bring this up later, but I guess just bring it up now. I think it accomplished what I thought that it was meant to do really well, which was really set up the, I guess, continuation of the the non-psychers, I guess, just looking for liberation, because what I saw was a definite parallel between those opening acts where the guys, killed that king, the psychic king guy, and the they call it the queer rat rebellion.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. It's the non-psychic humans, or people, I guess you would call them, the non-psychic people trying to gain freedom for themselves from the psychic people.
Yeah.
And actually, one thing else that I just really liked, because the show kept throughout the whole thing a constant gray area. Like there was no right and wrong. Like in Psychopaths, which was, I would say it's kind of more similar than Serial Experiment Lane.
Yeah.
Really?
It was. Yeah, there was always the, like, you could justify why the computer system was necessary, but it was obvious. It was definitely not the best thing. But in this show, like, you could not just justify, but you understood why it was the best course of action to kill off the children who showed psychic, or showed potential of falling, basically, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, you could, as it was explained, like, at first, wow, this is awful, but as it was explained, you're like, oh wow, this is the best thing that could happen.
Well, I wouldn't call it the best thing. It was the safest. It was the safest thing that they could do.
Yeah.
And
like,
this type of justification and thing is what I was talking about earlier with the psychological and philosophical questions. Is like, when you have this much power, and there's this minority with it that can do whatever they want. What would happen between the two groups? What would you do to protect yourself on either side?
That's an argument done in a lot of shows.
Yeah, but they did it really well.
Yeah, I thought they did it great in this one. Like, because a lot of shows end up being like, oh, here's the obvious good guys, and they're gonna do the right thing and save the day. This one was like, even by the end, they say, we're gonna try to reform the society, and the one girl is, I think, pretty much accepted she's gonna be the next leader of whatever village they started from, but because she's told she's gonna be.
Yeah.
But she's gonna try to change it, but nothing's like set in stone. All right, 1 second, I gotta go away for a bit.
Again? Cut. Again, cut. This is gonna be like a bunch of little short-ass clips.
Yeah.
What's next to talk about?
I was gonna say.
And I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, good. Let me put my drink down.
You just said nothing set in stone or whatever. Yeah.
What do you mean nothing?
Like you said, like, her actions or whatever aren't set in stone. Like, she was gonna try and change things, but.
Oh yeah, she said she's gonna try. She's gonna try to change things. She's gonna try to make the society better.
Yeah.
But she doesn't say, like, oh, here's how I'll free these people, or here's how I'll not kill any kids. She's just like, we are going to try to make society be better.
Yeah. I think one of the philosophical questions is, when is something always wrong? Because this is hundreds of years or whatever from when they started these practices. Are they wrong for continuing them because it's what they were raised with, and it's the only way they know how to do things, and most people don't even realize it's wrong?
Most people barely understand it's going on.
Yeah, most people are kind of brainwashed.
The old lady says, like, your group was the experiment to create basically free-thinking people, and we were willing to take the risks, and there's a lot of problems with that risk, but I think the old leader kind of says it was worth it to get basically
the old leader says they have to
take over.
They have to do it because someone has to lead, and
exactly.
sheep can't lead.
It was worth it. It was worth it because we need people that aren't sheep.
Yeah.
Like, we need leaders who can think creatively.
Also, I want to.
Yeah.
I think at some point we should maybe do a brief overview of what the show actually happens in the show.
Man,
I just want to bring up one other thing I just really liked, and this stuck with me. This is one of the big things that stuck with me when I was watching it. Is when they were still kids. It was like the previews of one of the episodes, and I remember, because at this point you kind of got a good idea of what's going on, but you're still kind of confused. I remember they're floating on the river, and it's kind of like the main character's monologues, like little speeches at the beginning, and she just like zooms up on the purple-haired girl, and she's just like, it's like Mari, blah blah, age, blah blah blah. It's like, and countless lives would have been saved if she would have just died right now. And you're just like, what? But they don't touch it for like at least 12 something episodes. They don't even hint at what's going to happen next. They like say it near the beginning and then just completely leave it alone for the longest time. And the whole time I was just sitting there wondering, just like what exactly is going to happen? So, because like the curly hair guy, you kind of, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I was half expecting him to just, kind of crack at any point. But the purple haired girl the whole time was, in control. And I was like, wow, like how is this? Like they said basically she's going to become a fiend. I mean, when they say countless lives are going to die, you assume she's going to, kill countless people. And when they explain what a fiend is, you get that. But the whole time you're thinking like, what is going to happen? What does this mean?
You sure the curly-haired was a guy
yes,
in the beginning?
It's a guy.
100%. They end up having a kid, Jay.
It's a guy.
100%.
I mean, I get that he's a guy after the first
he
time.
He wears like a blue and has pants.
Did he?
Yes.
Yes. How are you not getting this, Jay?
I just totally put him under the girls section in that first arc.
I mean, he is not masculine at all during the show.
No, not at all. But I mean, he's definitely male. 100%.
Yeah, but like,
Jay,
normally
they have
I can
a
tell.
child, Jay.
I get it, but So overview? Did you say?
Okay, let's just go over the basic overview of the show then.
I mean, yeah, sure. Nate, you want to handle? You want to do that?
Sure. All right, so
I will correct you.
okay, thank you, Jay. In the beginning
Jay,
of the
you've already shown us you have a very tenuous grasp on the plot of the show. Thinking that
I don't know. I get the plot. I just don't care about like philosophy, and I swear that was a girl.
Okay. What's the main character's name? I always forget. It's like Watanabe something.
Saki.
Saki? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So show begins with Saki getting her power. Yeah?
Because everyone in this world has psychic powers.
All humans
Humans
have psychic powers. And it's known as Cantus, so it's kind of important because they can seal away their Cantus and whatnot, and it becomes their way of life, is the ability to use this. Without it, they would be nothing. So she gets into the psychic school then, and she meets up with her group, and they all practice and whatnot. And at the end of the episode, one girl in their group gets taken away. Like, nobody knows why she's gone or saw her get taken, but she's just gone. And it kind of introduces the conspiracy about the tainted cats and all the monsters and stuff.
Okay, can I just say one second? This is just I thought they did a really good really good job at building a sense of mystery throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, no, they did. They started from the beginning, and they
up to the very end, I was just like,
yeah,
there was this sense of mystery until like the final reveals at the end of the show. Like there was always this sense of I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I liked it because whenever they did give you information, something always happened where it's like, crap, just give me a little bit more. Come on, it was so close. Just a little bit more. Like when they found the little library dog hologram thing. It was about to say what happened to all the non-psychic humans, and then it gets destroyed.
Which is what another thing I want to agree. They do a really good job at that foreshadowing. Like they do foreshadowing right.
Yeah.
They give you something, and you like looking back, it's like, oh, it's obvious, but like in the moment, you're like, how will this affect what goes on in the future?
Why do I need this information?
Exactly. Like what? Like, this is obviously information, but to what end?
It's like they are giving me this information
and actually making you like, why do I know this now?
It's like they're giving you this information, and it's just like, okay, but they're giving it in such a blanket, obvious way that it is important, and you're just like, I have no idea what to do with this box.
And it's important, but it's not immediately important. It all comes together at the end.
The entire intro, like that, the entire first few episodes when it was the old Empire, when I saw it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm so confused. And then when the library explains it, I'm like, wow, that explains that whole thing. Oh my god, that makes sense. I understand what's happening. And you think, like, now I get it. and then it
then
just
you
kind of like
don't.
kills that in just the next couple episodes.
Yeah. But
Okay, sorry.
talking about the library hologram thing,
They catch one.
they go out on a camping trip as a group project for their school, and they decide to try and capture one. They end up doing so and get a bunch of information about the past that they shouldn't have. Like, it is restricted information only for like higher up people across all the villages. And then a priest shows up, destroys it, and seals their cantus, so they no longer have their power. And then they get caught in the middle of a queer rat war.
And then they go on a magical fantasy adventure with strange creatures.
With queer rats, which are basically like bipedal mole rats that are kind of
But
are
then
used as slave labor.
It's like, then there were the other things that didn't make sense, like blow dogs still don't make sense.
No, they explain blow dogs, but I'll get to that
Pufferfish
later.
that explode.
I'll get to that later. So they go through with this queer rat war, and one of them gets their cantus back. And so he uses it to help them win, the side that's taking care of them, win the war.
Time out. I think it's also important to like he didn't just help them win the war. He single-handedly won the war. Like, the difference in power between, this one psychic, 10-year-old
okay. He didn't
and
win
the
them the
entire
war.
army.
Kiramaru came with his army and won.
That's true.
He
But
helped
up to
them.
that,
He became the wall.
Yeah, he became the shield that let this little robber fly colony of queer rats survive until their allies came in to win the war.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it is very apparent from when he gets his power back just how strong their psychic abilities are, which isn't really explained up until that point. And
Yeah, because before you've seen them in school, you floating and rebuilding a little a base and stuff like that. But then
They weren't even
he's
doing
tossing flying
They weren't
trees.
even doing the floating in bases yet. They were moving sand to make art and building card towers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's tossing flaming trees and blocking volleys of arrows, and you're like, wow.
And sending the
This
arrows
is
back
insane.
perfectly.
And you create stairs out of collapsed dirt, and it's boggling how strong this, if we actually had this today, it would be chaos. Which is, they explained that's what happened.
Which they explained this very well.
Yeah. And so when they do finally, when the war does end, whatever, they get to go back, and they all had their Cantus Karma mantras written down so they can all get their power back.
Because it's all basically hypnosis, why they didn't have their powers.
It's all hypnosis, basically. And then it jumps 2-3 years or whatever.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something. So, I guess this is gonna we'll skip ahead, but so the one dude becomes the Karma Demon. Do you think it is the main character's fault in kind of giving him his power back the wrong way?
No.
He just got it wrong, or what? That he was kind of just destined to not to have basically too strong of powers. I don't know. Which one how did you guys see it? I kind of saw while watching it, I kind of got the feeling it was more she messed it up somehow.
I don't think she messed it up.
Yeah, and then she messed it up, and
it caused the leakage.
Yeah, and that caused the
karma leak. Or the
exactly,
Cantus
and that
leak,
caused him
whatever
to be unable to control it fully.
I
was just wondering how you guys thought you saw it.
I don't think that happened. I think it was just going to happen eventually. Didn't he had an emotional breakdown or something?
Did he really? He didn't ever really have. He had the breakdown because
he had a breakdown from all the pressure of being supposed to be the great person to do something.
Well, okay, we don't know that. We don't know if the breakdown is because of him being, the most powerful student and expected to take the most powerful position once.
Or because he had already noticed that his powers were leaking and affecting things badly around him. Remember when the egg falls? Did he notice the egg was messed up and that's why he broke down in the class? Or did he break down in the class and that's what caused the egg to break? It is the chicken and the egg. Where did the cracks become because his power was faulty?
The teachers, how I saw it, the teachers were always putting pressure on him to do stuff, and then taking on that hard challenge of making the egg hatch was one of them, and he realized he couldn't do it, and that's when his karma started leaking and it broke, and The egg fell. That's how I saw it.
I mean, they never really give a definitive answer.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I mean, I guess the interpretation of the different interpretations, I think, are all pretty much valid, since there is no hard line answer.
Well, one of them becomes a karma demon and kills himself.
Yes,
That summarizes that arc.
The second arc is they're back in school, everything's happy, they're all in homosexual relationships, as Jay was pointing out.
That was weird. Still really weird.
Honestly, I still do think it was weird myself, because at one point they're just like, it's like, oh, they're kids chilling out, and then the next episode, just everyone's gay, and I was like, wait, what?
Well,
like,
no, not everyone. The curly-haired boy, Mumaru, or whatever his name was.
Oh, except him.
He loves Maria, and that is unquestionable.
Unrequited love for the longest time.
There was literally one person. No, even to the end. Even at that final letter, the Mari still says that she loves Saki more,
yeah.
but she knows that they can't have a kid, so she feels like she has to protect their friend.
Well,
even at the very end, the girl Mari says that she loves Saki
him
more.
But, yeah, she loves her more, but she knows that Mamoru probably isn't going to be able to survive by himself.
He sucks.
Yeah.
Because he's too weak. He's, like, emotionally weak.
Exactly. If anything, it's more like motherly instincts than love for the curly-haired kid at the very end.
But, yeah, so Shun becomes a karma demon because either he has too much pressure on him, the mantra's done wrong.
Why are you saying this again? We did this.
I just want to do it properly.
Just give it an ovary, you know?
So, yeah.
It brings
He's a karma demon, and Saki tries to go and visit him because he like, cuts himself off from everybody. He breaks up with his boyfriend, Satoru, and, like, his town gets blocked off, and Saki goes to find him.
And no one remembers the town.
No, at that point, people remember the town.
Do they? Oh,
yeah, at that point, they still know about the town, but they just know it's closed off. Saki goes to visit him, and she finds the area just, like, twisted and corrupt. There's mutated creatures, all the wood's warped, and she finds Shun, and he's wearing a mask. And he's just telling her to go away. And then he explains everything, like, my Cantus has been leaking, I'm a fucking karma demon. So
and it also
I'm gonna
in
kill
that
everything
he
if I don't die.
Why like there's different creatures like the blow dogs and
yeah.
I mean, at that point we assume that's why the queer rats are there. I mean, and all like the creatures that like are obviously not in our like in the real world right now. He explains why they're there, which is because of leaking psychic ability.
Yeah. And causing mutations. Yes.
Exactly.
And then it jumps forward another year or two after he kills himself, because he fucking destroys himself. Like, he blows himself up.
Oh, he definitely he kills himself. Yeah.
Then we get fake Shu.
And then yeah, they all have these like implanted memories of this guy, but it doesn't mesh with their with their camping trip. It just doesn't work. There's a faceless boy there, and that's Shun, but they can't remember his name. They can't remember his face. All they know is he existed, and he isn't this guy that's saying he was part of the group the entire time.
So they unravel that mystery for a while.
Well, they don't really unravel it. I mean,
they find out
two of the four like feel that the other guy, that new guy, isn't the right person.
Saki and Satoru, because they loved Shun.
But the other ones are like, maybe you were right, but I think it was him. Like they start doubting it, but they're never sure to the degree that Saki and Satoru were.
Okay, well, I would say they know at one point, but it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about right.
And while they go through this, they figure out that there are brainwashings, and they find out that the tainted cats are real, and they're used by the adults to kill children, and including teens, that they feel might become karma demons or fiends.
They don't find out the tainted cats are real. They remember that they already found out the tainted cats were real.
Because they sent tainted cats after Shun, but they didn't work.
Yeah.
But yes, they remember seeing the tainted cats in the school.
So all four of them at least know there's brainwashings.
They know there's brainwashings, and there's killings and kidnappings and whatnot. And one of Mamoru, the boy that's psychologically...
The boy! I'm doing air quotes here.
He's definitely
freaks
male.
out.
Like, I don't know why you're unsure of this. He's 100% male.
It's male, Jay. Just leave it alone. he freaks out. Like, he can't handle going deeper into this. It is, like, he's so afraid of it. And so they stop. But he's psychologically so unstable that the school counselor, whatever, decides he should die. And so he runs away.
To avoid being killed.
To avoid being killed by containing cats and whatnot. And the other 3 members of the group go looking for him in the snow.
And eventually they split up.
Okay, but they find him, and he's under the care of some mole rats.
Queer rats.
Queer rats, that's it, queer rats. And the 3 try and get him to come back, but he just won't, because he knows he'll die. So Satoru and Saki come back, and Ria and Momoru stay out in the wilderness just forever. That they're going to live out there alone without the protection of a village, because they know if they come back they'll die.
Yeah.
And that ends that arc.
The only other thing is they met the robber fly queer rats again and realized of their new system of a republic.
Oh yes,
instead of being ruled by a
that is
queen.
actually very important. That these queer rats have had a revolution and have changed from this monarchical kind of bee-like society to a...
Wait, are they really? They changed at that point?
Yeah, they meet them.
Yeah, they
okay.
meet the queen and see that she's been...
Lobotomized.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they...
I didn't remember that it had been there. I thought that was afterwards.
No,
okay.
they meet him then. So yeah, some of the queer rats have had a revolution, and it sets up...
Skip 5 years.
A dichotomy between 2 types of queer rats. The traditional and these new democratized ones. And then it time skips up to when they're like 25, 26.
Oh god, we're only there.
Well, it's the last arc.
Yeah.
And at this point, the queer rats have completely dichotomized, and there's just 2 factions now. The robber fly with all their underlings, and the traditionalists with Kiromaru leading their armies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have a war, and it seems like Kiromaru's forces will win.
Because he's just a badass.
Because they're just stronger, and they're more men, and they're better trained. Like,
well, and they take drugs.
Well, yes, but that's part of their strategy.
Just saying.
They're better led if that's part of their strategy.
Yeah, man, drugs.
It's
They're
been done
drugged
before.
out, dude.
Nathan, we should do some drugs while we're here.
Oh yeah,
don't
let's do
pretend
it.
they're not drugged out.
But at the final, like when they were assaulting the robber fly's final holdout or whatever, just like Kiromaru's forces just get decimated. Like their
all the
arrows,
Empire guys die.
Yeah, all their arrows took like none of them hit their mark, and there wasn't any damage on them when they found them. Meaning they didn't hit anything at all. They didn't hit the ground. So all the humans go, shit, they may be using Cantus. They might have psychic abilities.
Here, what happens is most of them be like, oh, that's weird, whatever. One guy goes, wait, maybe they're using Cantus.
I think it's something that's in the back of all their minds.
Like,
I think it's something that's in the back of all their minds, but they just won't believe it. That's how I
mean,
view
yeah,
it.
because they don't give a shit. And an important point is how much they look down on the queer rats. I mean, just like they view them as. I mean, and that's actually, I thought, one of the best points of how they look down the queer rats. And like during the, I mean, I guess we'll get to it later. During the rebellion, they're just like,
well, the rebellion's
whatever.
the very next thing.
Like you as the watcher, you're just like, man, I hope they survive. But then as it goes on, you're like, wow, I don't know what I want to happen, because you begin to sympathize with the queer rat rebellion.
Didn't happen at all with
completely, like why it's going on.
I wouldn't say.
I mean, at least
I could sympathize. I could understand.
I mean,
I understood it. I sympathize more with Kiromaru than with anyone else.
I mean, but honestly, I saw Kiromaru as just someone who, like, at the end point, I saw Kiromaru as someone who had ideals, but just wouldn't follow through with them. I ended up completely sympathizing with, what was his name? Squealer, I guess. Squealer, because he was someone willing to go the extra yard to see, like, he they paint the whole throughout the whole show. He's painted as the villain, but when you think about it, I mean, when at least how I saw it was he was really just someone willing to go the
we'll get
extra
to his
yard
position at the very end. Okay.
Like he never thought like they paint it as like, oh, he's just trying to gain personal power and blah blah blah. But at the very end, he is a freedom fighter. He's not a conqueror at the end. He's a freedom fighter wanting the freedom of his own people.
That's questionable. That is
how they
questionable.
let Squealer off.
That's questionable. It's how you look at him. It's questionable. But let's get into the actual revolution before we get to Squealer's position.
Okay, go ahead. Continue. Right. You're doing a good job.
So, the time skip 12 years or something like that.
What? No, they already time skipped.
Yeah, we already time skipped.
Okay. After the time skip, whatever. Everyone's
after the war where the traditionalists got decimated in the Queer Rat War.
There's the Queer Rat War, and they decide at this council meeting or whatever where one of them says maybe they have some way of using Cantus.
Well, time to take down the Queer Rats.
Yeah, they just decide like these 6 people.
No.
Okay.
No, first they have the trial. Remember?
No, the trial was before the war.
The trial was before the war. And it was pretty insignificant.
Oh, you're right. My bad. You're right. The trial was completely before the war.
And it was pretty insignificant.
I mixed up.
So they decide that just this robber fly colony and their allies and whatnot, they just have to be destroyed. They are potential danger. And
they're too different.
They're
too different from what they want.
They're too unpredictable. And they decide they just have to go.
They also might have a weapon of mass destruction.
Oh, yes, they might also have a weapon of mass destruction. It's one of their theories on how they won the war. And they
by weapon of mass destruction, they made a bomb. That's pretty much what they mean. They don't mean like a nuke.
No, they say it couldn't have been a bomb. Something like a biological weapon, perhaps.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. They do definitely say it can't be a bomb. You're right.
Technically, it's a biological weapon.
Yeah. And so they decide they have to kill them all. And they do it, right before a festival.
Festival gets wrecked.
The festival gets wrecked by the Queer Rats. Straight up destroyed. Killing a bunch of people.
So hard.
And
secret weapons, ambushes, surprise attacks.
Gas attacks.
Well, I think, since we're talking about the first strike, I think the first strike really shows, I mean, at this point he's an evil villain, but it really shows the planning and the full mastermind kind of that Squealer is.
It shows his cunning.
You as the watcher up to this point, you saw him as he's
dirty
scumbaggy mole rat. He's betraying. He betrayed the kids at the very beginning, that first time they met them, and then he's sketchy. You don't trust him. He's the sketchy, untrustworthy people. But this really shows he understands. Unlike the humans, don't understand him, but he fully understands.
Yeah, well, I mean, it shows his cunning, and
his cunning was shown way before when he tricked the kids to opening the freaking colony that was in a mountain.
Okay, I wouldn't call that cunning. That was hey, if you help us, we'll help you, type of thing.
No. He manipulated them.
Okay, yes, he manipulated them, but it wasn't so cunning as this was, because this was he knew every move that people were going to make at this point.
Alright, sorry. Kids, wait, where did I cut out? I think you cut out again.
Oh, don't worry.
No, don't worry about it.
I don't know where you cut out.
His attack on the human villages showed he knew every step they were going to take.
Yeah, but the part where it showed beforehand that
that's what I just said.
Doesn't make it.
Okay, we always know he's cunning.
It wasn't surprising.
No, it's not surprising, but this shows full extent how well how much he's been preparing for this.
Okay, I was just saying. I cut out. I was just saying that. Exactly that.
Yeah, no, you said it. We heard you.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you guys did. My bad.
But after these attacks, Saki and Satoru meet up with some other people, just random people, and they go to try and clear a hospital. And Truman cut out again.
Just keep going.
Alright. So they go to a hospital to try and, rescue people and make sure that there are no Queer Rats there. They get there and they find people strung up. And that's important because Queer Rats wouldn't be able to just string up people because people have Cantus and could just untie themselves and kill everyone.
Stop cutting out, Truman.
I don't know. Something's wrong with my connection right now. So.
All right.
I don't know what to tell you.
We're at the hospital.
Yeah, I know where you guys are.
Okay.
I just
So-
kind of know a lot.
The reason these people are strung up is because someone was using Cantus. Another human was using Cantus, a fiend. And eventually, they all try and run away, and everyone dies but Satoru and Saki, and the demon follows them. So they end up kind of leading the demon towards, or the fiend towards the village, and they see the most powerful Cantus user get wrecked. Like, his body writhing in pain.
He was pretty damn cool, though, before that.
Yeah, no, before that we see why he's the most powerful Cantus user.
It's like, oh, explosions next to me? Don't worry, I'll just put this in the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
I mean, but it gets wrecked really hard. Like, it's no doubt about it.
Well, that's because he can't do
Almost
anything.
immediately.
Yeah, and, like, no one can do anything to stop the fiend because the fiend is still technically human, and they know that. And they have this death feedback thing where if they kill another human, they'll start to kill themselves, basically. Like, their heart will stop beating, or their liver will fail, and they will die. So, they can't hurt each other. This is why they have the tainted cats and whatnot.
And this is why fiends are very dangerous.
And this is why fiends are so dangerous. It's because they can't kill each other with their Cantus. And these fiends can. The fiends don't have this death feedback anymore. And the fiend just goes around destroying everything, and Saki and Satoru have to go and find a weapon to stop the fiend. And so they go to Tokyo to find a weapon of mass destruction, which turns out to be anthrax.
Post-apocalyptic Tokyo.
And in order to get there, they get Kiromaru, who had escaped the battle and lived earlier, who is a queer rat, just make sure that's known. And he leads them through Tokyo to get the stuff. And they find the anthrax, and the fiend is still following them. And they have a chance to use it, but it would kill Satoru. And so Saki burns the anthrax in the air before anyone can be infected by it.
Brilliant
Yup.
move.
It's an amazing move.
I know. It's like in retrospect, yeah, it's a bad call, but I thought at the time, I understood why.
It's completely understandable. And so while they're still running away, she figures out who the faceless boy in her memories is, Shun, because he imprinted himself on her memories or something, or her emotions.
I mean, he's been talking to her.
Psychic bullshit.
Yeah, he does some psychic bullshit, and he's like,
And basically, he's been talking to her the whole time.
yeah, he's talking to her throughout this, and he's like, maybe it's not a fiend. Maybe it's just a person.
Also, turns out that the fiend, in quotes, is the child of the other two that ran
Yes.
away.
The child has red
Okay.
hair, and it's the child's Mamoru and
Raised
Yumi.
by queer rats this
Raised
whole
by
time.
Yeah, raised by.
I didn't know. I didn't know if
Spoiler.
you guys got that right away. I totally thought it actually was the Mari the whole time. I totally thought it was, and then
Okay, I thought that at
it was
first
the
because of
very
the red
end, I'm
hair.
like, oh wow, it's
No,
not.
I'm just
But-
like, I
but too
immediately
short.
was just like, it's a kid. Just go give the kid a hug.
Yeah,
Give the kid a hug. The
once-
kid needs a hug.
Once I saw how tall the kid was, I was like, oh, that's not Mary or Maria or whatever her name is. But she figures out it's Sean and whatnot, and that it's not actually a fiend. It's just a kid that, doesn't view itself as human. And so she tries to, make a mirror, make it realize it's killing its own people. But that doesn't work. So they end up sending Kiromaru out to sacrifice himself, and they bandage his face so that the child would think it was still human.
By the way,
And then he takes the bandages off after he has his rib cage just blown open.
he took that like a man.
He was a fucking champ through and through.
hole in his
That's
chest.
pretty-
He's just like, yeah, I'm this guy.
And so the child, after killing this mole rat, or a queer rat, experiences the death feedback. So the death feedback is more about killing people that you were raised with than your actual species.
It's killing your own people.
Yeah.
It's killing what you see as you.
Yeah, it's killing what you see as your own people. And they capture Squealer, bring him back, and he's subjected to like basically eternal torture.
Sounds
Yeah, pretty much.
delightful.
Oh, it was so bad. But we find out later, like Satoru looks into it, and the queer rats have 32 chromosomes, while mole rats only have 40.
Isn't it 26?
It's 36 pairs, 46 actual chromosomes. It's 23 pairs. 23 pairs, that's it. Yeah, they have 23 pairs of chromosomes.
Yeah.
I thought it was even more important was that was really just yelling that they're humans too.
Yeah, well, okay, that's what I was about to get to.
I thought that was the more important thing.
Yeah, they found out that, he looked into how queer rats were, brought up and whatever, and he found that there was a mix of human and mole rat DNA. And so he looked at the queer rat's DNA and found that they have 23 pairs of chromosomes, just like humans, instead of 40 like mole rats.
They're humans turned mole rats and not mole rats turned humans.
Yeah, they were humans first that were changed into these queer rats, not mole rats that were changed into queer rats.
Specifically, the unpsychic humans.
Yes, it was the unpsychic humans that were turned into these queer rats. And it becomes apparent that what Squealer had said at his sentencing was right, that he was human. That mole rats are human, or queer rats are human, and that they deserve equality and freedom, and that them being treated as slaves and as something that can be killed whenever they felt like it is wrong. And
and then society, if the future, slowly starts to rebuild itself after a major catastrophe. We're at 40 minutes. Hurry this thing up.
Well, I think we've gotten most of it.
Good. Favorite characters?
Favorite characters?
Yeah, that definitely took a while.
Took much longer than I expected it to.
I told you this was going to take a while because I like this show and I want to talk about it.
Okay.
That makes sense. I get it. I get what you're saying.
But we've covered basically everything I wanted to say. That, where's the line that you can't cross for trying to defend your people? That was one of the things, and the show goes into it really well. And talking about Squealer, leading this revolution, he was willing to risk everything.
What the fuck are you doing, Truman?
I mean, stuff's going on. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, the question of what would you do to try and, protect your people or whatever, and, Squealer's willing to risk everything, not just himself, his entire people, to try and give himself and all of them freedom. I thought that was a good question that was raised from the show.
Yeah, sorry, my roommates are moving out right now, so it's gonna be a little loud.
Oh, okay.
Coolio.
Well, I guess we can do favorite characters now.
Favorite characters.
Truman?
Get back to me. I'll go last.
Okay. For me, it's either Satoru or Shun. Shun is just like, he's kind of a god character. And
God, yeah.
Like a good god character, not a bad one. But he's still human. They show that at the end. He's still human. Well, not at the end. When he kills himself, they show he's still human. And Satoru...
Well, he has a conscience.
Yeah, but
That he kept his conscience, and
Yeah, but more that he was flawed, because he was flawed. He couldn't control himself.
Yeah.
Or control his Cantus.
That seems like a major flaw.
Yeah, that's kind of a big flaw. But
he took out an entire village.
But he was willing to sacrifice himself to try and save everyone that hadn't been affected yet. So, Satoru, I liked him just because he was always trying. He was a bit bloodthirsty, to be honest, but he never seemed like a bad guy.
I mean, that's pretty obvious. He wasn't a bad guy.
Favorite queer rat though, Kiramaru. BA, very end.
Oh yeah, Kinamaru is a badass indeed.
Really? I mean, Jay, that's your favorite too?
No, he's my favorite queer rat, but character...
Why I prefer him to Squealer is because he did try... the reason he went to Tokyo in the first place was to try and find a weapon of mass destruction to use against the humans if the humans ever decided just, these guys are too big and too unpredictable. we have to get rid of them. But he ended up stopping because he was losing too many of his people. Like, he knew it wasn't going to be worth it if his people didn't make it through this. So...
I guess I'm different from both you guys because I preferred
Squealer?
Yeah, the other dude, Squealer. Just because he was really just, pretty much willing to go the extra mile, do whatever it takes to...
Okay, but the thing with that is it's all or nothing with him. That's what he was he was making an all-out bet. He was all in.
But I think that's important. Like, he was all in while, it's half measures versus full measures. He was willing to go all the way, whereas the other guy wasn't.
Okay, you call it half measures versus full measures. I see it as making sure your people survive before your people have freedom.
And that just goes to more what's called
more
not psychological, more philosophical. Like what's more important?
God damn it! I always say philosophical.
Freedom versus life. That's really what it comes down to.
But that's why I prefer Kiramaru over Squealer, and that's why he's my favorite Queer Rat. I'll let you guys talk about your favorite characters.
Well, we already know my favorite Queer Rat, so my favorite character was... What was the redhead kid's name? You already said it. You basically already said everything.
Maria?
No.
The Fiend?
Orange-haired.
Orange-haired?
Orange hair? Who's orange hair?
Satoru, that's his name.
Oh, Satoru. He had brown hair.
His hair was totally orange.
It was like a light brown.
What are you talking about, Jay?
It was a light brown.
It was
definitely...
No, light brown was curly-haired.
They both had light brown hair.
Yeah, both.
I disagree.
You're wrong.
I believe you're wrong. But
Whatever.
You know what? I'll put a picture of the character right here, and we'll find out who's wrong.
Okay, so Satoru. You like Satoru?
Yeah, and
Satoru.
you basically already said it.
Yeah.
Also, when he first gets back his powers in the first arc, he's just like, hole in the ceiling? Whatcha! Flaming trees? Why not?
He definitely... It's a little overboard the whole time, the whole thing, all the stuff he does.
He was showing off, man. But, your favorite character, Truman?
I'm thinking about it. I actually haven't put too much thought into it.
Are you just gonna stick with Squealer?
Honestly, kind of want to, because at the very end, it seems like they, he changed the most. Like he in my opinion of him changed the most from he's scheming douche to I totally understand what he did. It really, I thought he ended up being the most, not relatable, but understandable.
Well, I think that's part of the show is that just about everyone is understandable except for actually even the elders. Once you see what's happening at the end, you understand why everything happened.
Exactly. You understand really why everyone did what they did. So I don't know. I guess either I'd probably say Squealer, and if not, I'd probably say the main character, just because
I couldn't stand the main character.
Oh, really?
Not that I couldn't stand her, but she never does anything.
It's the main character's the observer,
Yeah, I know that, but it's she's the observer, but because we're supposed to be experiencing it through her eyes, it made me feel like...
It gets kind of frustrating sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
It gets frustrating, because it's you have this power, use it. If I was there, I would use it.
I get what you're saying. No, I understand where that comes from. And
that's everyone talks about how she's strong.
I'd probably go Squealer.
And that, she can shoulder it all, but they also say that she gets easily discouraged, and it's just you're contradicting yourself by saying that.
No, and that's why, probably at the end of the day, I'm probably just going to go Squealer as, the best. Because, I thought it was, by the end, I really, got it, and, to just completely change my opinion of the person.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Final rating.
Well, Jay, or, sorry, Nate. Nate, you go.
Hey, you've been
You're
leading
kind
this.
of leading this one.
Okay, I'm trying to. What did I give Psychopaths? I gave Psychopaths a 9, and I would say this is on par with Psychopaths for me. This is a 9.
Psychopath?
Yeah, it's either a high 8 or a 9. That's what this show was. It was good. I enjoyed watching it the entire time. There was never something that felt slow or sluggish or unimportant. And it all comes together at the end, and it feels complete.
I'm going to
Alright.
mostly agree with you, but as a guy who doesn't like as much philosophical things,
Wait, say that word one more time?
no, I've said it too many times.
You said
today.
it like 5 times already.
Like, I don't like that many psychological and themes in my shows. And also, I did feel that it got really slow and really boring at parts. So I'd probably give this a 7. But I could definitely see other people liking it more than me. And why.
Yeah, I mean, I was, I don't know, I disagree with you on that. I thought it didn't slow down really at all. I thought it, you know, it got slower, but not boring. It didn't fall off. And, yeah, I'm going to go for a 10, which is one more than Psychopaths.
He's upping you.
Because,
It's fine.
I mean,
Nathan, you gonna let him up
I
you?
started it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him
When
out.
I- Yeah, when I started, I just, was like, oh, wow, this is, grabbed my interest. And, yeah, I was interested the whole time. I never really, didn't seem like there was no, I guess, valley in it, no drop, slow spots. So, yeah.
Okay. Jay was saying that I was getting one up by Truman here. The reason I don't give it a 10 is because I couldn't connect that well with the main character.
Fair enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think if I had liked the main character more, and I don't dislike her, I just don't like her. Saki was not someone I could connect with.
I don't know. I always viewed it as I don't know. If I watch it again, that's the difference between 9 and 10. That's always just how I looked at it. So in this, I'd watch again.
Oh yeah, I'd watch this again.
Alright. I'm gonna stop recording real quick to make sure that this all saves. And then we're gonna start again on
Really,
the
Jay?
weekly watch.
Really?